Pizza time.
Alright, so as a professional amateur beginner chef, I thought let's make some homemade pizza. Camera decided that I shouldn't show the first part, and the file corrupted. So I added 5 cups of bread flour, 1 tablespoon sugar, and 1 table salt.
Into the bowl!
The recipe calls for 1 tablespoon of dry active yeast. I don't have that, so I'm just gonna mix 1 tablespoon of bread machine with some water. Pour in the yeast water mixture and the rest of the water for a total of 2 cups, 1/4 water. Now just to mix everything together until it forms a rough dough. Once it starts to form a rough dough, go in and once it starts to form a rough dough, go in and knead by hand.
Yeah!
Make sure to not forget to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil before mixing. Now knead the dough until it looks like this. I decided to add a little bit more water and flour and knead it for a little while longer. That's what good dough sounds. I forgot to do the stretch test, but I thought the dough had reached a good consistency.
Hiya!
In a second container, pour in some olive oil and then just drop the dough in the container. You're going to want to use the dough as a brush to coat the container and the whole dough in olive oil.
Do it again.
Who's your daddy?
Now to cover the container and leave it in the fridge overnight.
So leave it.
I'm going to be making a Buldak ramen recipe I found online. If you don't know what Buldak ramen is, what rock have you been living under? If you actually don't know, it's the noodles they use in the spicy noodle challenge videos. I saw a clip online of someone talking about how they hate when people explain how to do the easy stuff while cooking. Gonna want to start off by boiling some water. While the water starts to boil, I'm gonna go ahead and open my prana Kingles. I only had a big can of Pringles, but the recipe calls for a small can, so I'm only gonna use half the Pringles.
It's the Leaning Tower of
Pringles.
I just eyeballed half of the Pringles and put half back into the can. I'm pretty sure the recipe calls for a smaller prana Kingles, so that way it's easier to crush them. But there's always going to be hardships in life, and hardships often prepare ordinary people for an extraordinary destiny. Just like how we're going to turn these extraordinary noodles into an ordinary dish. Now to actually make the cheesy Pringle mashed potatoes, you're just going to want to put like an equal amount of cheese to the amount of Pringles that you have.
Mozzarella.
Then pour the boiling water into the Pringles can until it reaches a little bit over the cheese. It's fucking boiling in there.
Well, no fucking shit!
Once you're done with that, cover the Pringles can and just put it to the side. Now for the hardest part, cooking the ramen. You're going to want to take the ramen out of the package and put it into the boiling water. If you drop one of the packets in while putting the ramen in, be careful while taking it out because apparently boiling water is hot. Did you like that transition? Anyways, now that the noodles are done, I'm just going to go drain them. You're welcome for the free facial. After draining the nudes, now it's time to make them tasteful by just simply adding the sauce packet that it comes with and mixing it up. That's what good noodles sound like. Now to assemble it all together, the part we've all been waiting for. And actually, I gotta check if this Pringle thing actually worked. Oh shit, look. I successfully made web fluid. Are you proud of me?
Oh my god.
I think it worked.
It definitely worked. Now it's time to taste it and rate it 1 through 10.
Oh my god.
Eventually.
This is something else.
This is actually really good. The cheesy mashed potato Pringles really brings the spice level down to almost 0. If you really like the flavor of Buldak ramen, I'd recommend making this, but just do it with actual mashed potatoes instead of Pringles. Overall, I'd give it a 7 out of 10.
The next day.
Oh my goodness, tomato sauce. If you can't tell by the last clip, we're going to be making the pizza sauce now. To start, you're going to pour in a 28-ounce can of tomato sauce into the bowl. The recipe calls for 2 to 4 tablespoons of olive oil, so I put 3 in because it's right in between 2 and 4. I'm curious to know, does anyone else do this? Let me know in the comments below. And follow that up with a teaspoon of sugar. Also 2 teaspoons of oregano, but I didn't put that in because
Oregano's for savages.
if I'm being honest, I probably should have added the oregano because the sauce ended up tasting like tomato sauce instead of pizza sauce.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Look, it made, oh fuck.
What? How did that not spill? It just like flopped back in.
It's alive!
If you're making homemade pizza in a conventional oven, you're going to want to set the oven to its maximum temperature. For me, it's 550. Let the oven preheat until it reaches the max temperature. Then you got to let your pizza stone warm up for an additional hour. While the oven heats up, we're going to flour our workstation and drop the dough onto the counter. Then we're going to cut it into 4 equal pieces. Yes, I am using a pizza cutter. I do not own a dough cutter. Once you cut the dough into 4 equal pieces, we're going to put 3 aside. Then we're going to start roughly shaping the dough into like a pizza shape. I think that's the best I'm going to get it. I have to put a lot of flour on my pizza shovel. If I don't, the pizza will stick to it. It might be the pizza dough I'm using. I might try a different dough recipe for a TikTok or something. So I'm going to be making a classic New York style cheese pizza. So to start off the pizza, we're going to do only a spoonful of our pizza sauce. Evenly spread out the pizza sauce and realize you need a tiny bit more pizza sauce. I'm going to sprinkle on some mozzarella cheese. And then you're going to sprinkle some more mozzarella cheese on it because you can't forget
That second cup of cheese. Just another way.
I'm doing it. You remember how I said I needed to put extra flour on my pizza shovel so that way the pizza won't stick? That method works flawlessly. Alright, second time's the charm.
Nice job, team.
Now to just let it cook for 10 to 15 minutes. The pizza's done and all there is left to do is try it and rate her 1 through 10.
Oh, this making me have an organism in my trousers.
Overall, the pizza's pretty good. The only thing is the sauce is more of a tomato sauce rather than pizza sauce. It's honestly really hard to make something taste bad when it's just cheese and bread.
It's crazy because I love pizzas with sauce.
It's crazy because I didn't ask. I'm gonna go ahead and let past me take over.
Overcooked the cheese a little too, so it's a little rough to chew. But trust me when I say, this is the worst the pizzas came out out of all the times I made it.
Overall, I'd give it a 6 out of 10. So my friend came up with the idea to try making a calzone. All I thought was how hard could it be? Putting in the same pizza sauce, some mozzarella cheese, and then just folding it in the shape of a calzone. That's all there is to it, right?
Yeah!
I left my calzone in the oven for more time than I did the pizza because it had to cook through. Now that it's done, I'm gonna slice it open and see if we get a cheese pull. Let me get a moment of silence for this cheese pull. Bruh. Now it's time to try it and rate it 1 through 10.
Oh my god.
It's just basic chemistry, yo.
I'd like to go to work. Oh my god, it opens.
It tastes really good just because it's cheese, sauce, and bread. But for a calzone, it's not too great. I'd give it a 4 out of 10. That's it. See ya.
Give me pizza! P-I-Z-Z-A. Give me pizza! P-I-Z-Z-A.
Wow.